Hey guys, it's Sammy. Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about the books I read in April and May, but really the books I read in April and the one book I read in May. Since I've gotten home, things have been kind of crazy, so I haven't been reading a lot, but I had a really great reading month in April, and I plan on getting a lot of reading done for the rest of the summer, but that's beside the point. Without further ado, let's get into the books I read. Between the 2 months, I read a total of 7 books, which is really good for me. Since in April I was still in school, a lot of these are going to be audiobooks, so I'll just insert the picture over here when I talk about it. But the first book I read in April I listened to on audiobook, and that was Every Day by David Levithan. So basically, if you don't know what this is about, the only reason I really was interested in it because I saw it, there was a movie, and I saw it on my library's audiobook online, like Overdrive, and I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. It was pretty short audiobook. It's basically about this person who travels through people's bodies and lives out their day as a different person, and this is kind of the story on how that person falls in love with a normal person. Really interesting, but also really weird. I did end up giving it 4 stars because I really enjoyed the concept of it, but it was definitely not for everyone. I really enjoyed the audiobook. I thought the audiobook made it easy to like understand what was going on, but it was still super weird. Like the concept itself was like super odd. Like I've read stories about people like switching bodies, but it was like, this is that person's life, they do that every day, and it was kind of odd. But I really want to see the movie. I still haven't seen the movie since I read this. I would recommend it. I think it is an interesting read, and I think it is pretty short in physical form. I know it's short in audiobook, so check it out if you're interested. The next book I read was a book that I don't know how I didn't finish it earlier, but that was One Dark Throne by Kendar Bliss. This is a sequel to Three Dark Crowns, which is about these 3 princesses that are fighting to the death for the crown. They all have powers. There's a naturalist, a poisonist, and a elementalist. I love this book. I thought it was so amazing. I was planning on doing a review, but I honestly, there is so much that happens that I don't remember now. So I think once the third and final book comes out, I will do a review of the whole series for you guys, because I think this got more hype as it's been coming out more, but I think it is still severely underhyped. I think this is an amazing fantasy series. I get 5 stars. You guys should definitely check it out if you have the chance to, or if you see it in the library, anything like that. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about it. I love it. The next book I read was another audiobook, and that was I Have Lost My Way by Gail Forman. This was actually a book that came out in April, and I just saw it on my Overdrive library. I was like, I didn't even have this on my TBR, but I was like, oh my god, this comes out this month, I should listen to it, because I haven't read a book when it came out in so long. So I picked it up, I listened to it, and I liked it. It's basically about these 3 people who each have their own issues, and they run into each other through some strange circumstances in New York one day, and you kind of slowly unravel like what all these people's issues are, and they help each other, and it was kind of like a heartwarming story. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 3.5 stars simply because, I mean, it wasn't like anything like spectacular, but I thought it was a really good book, and it really delved into some issues. It delved into mental illness, it delved into the music industry and the anxiety that some musicians have, and Haroon is trying to tell his family that he is gay, and he knows that with his family and with their religious beliefs and their traditional values that it might not go well. And there's just a whole lot going on, and I mean, I really did think it was impactful, but it didn't strike home with me, I guess. I think if any of those topics are really relatable to you, you'll really enjoy this. But overall, I think it's a really good book for anyone anyway, so that's really my thoughts on that. The next book I read was another audiobook, and that was Highly Illogical Behavior by John Corey Whaley. If you don't know what this is about, it's about this boy whose name is Solomon, and one day in middle school he has a complete panic attack and throws himself into a fountain, and after this incident nobody ever sees him again. And one day Lisa, our main character, I guess, she decides that she wants to go to this really prestigious psychology college, and she wants to write a really great essay, and so she decides she's going to find Solomon and write her essay about fixing him. The synopsis, first of all, makes this book sound a lot worse than it is. The characters all end up pretty much okay, though I will say I really didn't like the main character anyway. I did end up giving this 3.5 stars, but mostly for Solomon, because my sweet, sweet child, I loved him. But I was really conflicted about this book. I was like, I hate Lisa. They kind of balance out, and I liked the overall story of it, and I liked Solomon so much that I felt like I still would give this book 3.5 stars. This book deals with agoraphobia, and I really did want to give this like 4 or 5 stars. It was really good. Lisa ruined it. So that's really the only reason I gave this a low rating. Funny I say that, because that's the same case with the next book that I gave a pretty low rating to, just because I could not stand the main character, and that book is Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. This is an unpopular opinion if I've ever heard one. I hated Kath. I made a whole review on this book that you will be seeing soon, but oh my god. I could not stand her. Like, I literally could not stand her. I love Levi, so I ended up giving this book as well 3.5 stars, and I really loved the college setting, and I loved how real all the characters felt. I just hated being in Kath's head, and I also hated the fanfiction. I really did not like it. I did not like the fact that it's literally Harry Potter. We're not gonna even get into it. That is a whole other topic that annoys me to no end. But I read this. I love Levi. I love the college setting. I hated Kath. Look out for a review coming soon. Next book I read was another audiobook, and that was The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo, I think. This is the story of a black girl living in Harlem whose family is super religious, and one of the ways she finds out to express herself is through slam poetry. So this book is written in verse. I don't know why I didn't think this would be written in verse. The audiobook was like 3 hours. I was like, oh man, but then I looked online and the book was like 350 pages. I was like, something doesn't add up. So yeah, this book is written in verse, but it was so good. It was so good. I gave this book 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. It told the story so well. I loved the audiobook narrator. I highly recommend the audiobook. Even though it was so like short, it really told a full story and it really had so much in it. I just loved it. I loved all the characters in this, or her mom in particular did some really terrible stuff to her, but it was just like really impactful and really raw, and I really loved it, and I highly recommend it. This also I think came out in April, which I read it during. I was like really proud of and loved it. Like, I loved it. So definitely check this out if you haven't. Once again, I especially recommend it on audiobook. And the last book I read is the only book I read in May, and that was Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I already have a full review up. I'll link it up above. I love this book. It was amazing. This just continues right off after the ending of Chamber of Secrets. I loved it. I really am just going to direct you up here because I really talk in depth about everything. But yeah, I love this. I can't wait to read the next book. Alright guys, so that is going to be it for what I read in April and May. Comment down below the favorite book you read in between April and May. I really would love to discuss them, especially if I've read it before. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. Bye.